So my last couple of videos, I've been riddled with questions regarding this topic. So whether you're skinny or whether you're fat or whether you're skinny fat, the worst of them all, this is an athlete's guide on when to bulk and when to cut. Now, first things first, not all of you need to bulk and not all of you need to cut. So let's get you guys out the way. So some of you have a decent physique to where all you need to do is focus on getting stronger, lifting heavy, maintaining your health and working on your skills. Because at the end of the day, your skills and your health will always be the most important thing if you're doing this for athletic purposes. Now, how do you know if you have a decent physique? Because it's not solely about appearance or aesthetics. My general rule of thumb is if you look at the sport and you say, hey, I look like majority of the people in my sport, and I'm talking about physique wise, I'm not talking about race or something, because you guys are going to go in comments and say, step one, be black. No, I'm talking about physically. If you look at the people in your sport and you say, I look like them, you're good. The second person would probably be someone that can look at their sport and see that maybe I don't look like them physically, but I could do every single thing that they can do or better. I could run fast, I could jump high, I'm just as strong, just as athletic, can move the same way, my stamina is great, I'm healthy, you're probably good as well. For example, Anthony Edwards, one of the most athletic and explosive players in the league, he's got kind of a weird build. He's not skinny fat, but he's kind of muscular fat. If you see him in some pictures, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's mostly in his midsection. But still, there's no reason for him to ever change his physique or ever do anything further than what he currently has, because he's strong enough, he's fast enough, and he's athletic enough to take on anybody in the league. Now, some of you lose focus on this. You focus so much on the aesthetics side of things, saying, I don't look like a certain person, and it kind of takes away from your game. Now, that's cool if you understand that, hey, I'm doing this for aesthetics, and hey, I'm doing this for my sports. Like, there's a difference. Like, sometimes they go hand in hand, but very often you guys may focus on something that's a little bit more aesthetic based, as long as you're able to identify that, hey, this is just for me personally, it's not necessarily going to help my game. That's cool as long as you're aware with it. Now, the only time that one of these two people may want to continue to bulk or cut is one, the obvious, which I stated, is the aesthetic reasons, or two, if you just want to separate yourself from your peers. You don't want to be on the same level of your peers. Obviously, no one wants to be on the same level, but if you're just saying, hey, my skills are good enough and now I want to separate myself even further from the people that I'm playing against, then you may want to continue to bulk or cut just to become more physically dominant. Now, an example of this is Kawhi Leonard, who came into the league with a decent physique, a decent amount of muscle. He wasn't super big, he wasn't skinny, he was just a regular hooper, but he had enough skills and physical traits like his length, his hand size to defend the best players in the league. So he really didn't have to do too much more. Now, offensively, he wasn't who he is today because he played on the Spurs. So obviously they have a very systematic approach, but he could still pick his spots and get a few buckets. With that being said, he was guarding LeBron James many nights, and I'm sure he felt that physicality. I'm sure he felt that dominance, and he decided, I'm gonna put on some muscle. Now, in doing that, it started to stretch out and expand his game a lot. Now, obviously, that's in addition to his skill training, but him getting bigger, you can see that when he goes up against different defenders, a lot of them are just not strong enough to guard Kawhi. It's just the truth. There's only a select few of people in the league who are just physically dominant or very strong. And Kawhi, he does play pretty physical because he is more robotic. He's not a shifty player, so he uses his body very well to get to his spots. So the first thing that you should absolutely not do is what you guys very often ask me to do, and that's to decide for you based off of your numbers. There's two people that could both be 6'4", 200 pounds. One could be skinny and one could be muscular, or one could be kind of chubby. How is this possible? There's many things that go into weight besides muscle and fat. Some people have a lot of fatty organs, larger organs. Some people have higher bone density. Some people carry more water weight naturally. These things add up and they can vary someone's weight 15 pounds possibly. It's a significant difference. The only time that the numbers matter is when you're comparing the numbers to yourself, your previous version of yourself, or maybe future if you have some sort of expectations. If I take, for example, like I said, two guys that are like maybe 6 feet, 200 pounds, it's very rare they're gonna look like they weigh the same. Like, it just does It does not work like that. That's not how life works. So you got to take those numbers and compare them to yourself. You can't look at Kawhi and say, oh, he's 6'7", 220 or 230, and I'm 6'7" also, and I'm 200. I need to get to 230. That's not how it works. Not at all. He could have very small joints and you could be a big bone, big back. Now, obviously, no one's gonna go ahead and make you do a bunch of scans, pay a bunch of money and stuff like that to figure out how much your organs weigh, how much your bone density is, and things of that nature. It's really not necessary. But you're gonna have to use a little bit of common sense if you wanna be able to do this by yourself. If you look in the mirror and you see that you're skinny, it wouldn't hurt to bulk up a bit. Also, if you're short, and that's relative to like where you're trying to go. If you're trying to get to the league, 6 feet and under is relatively short. If you're just playing in your local rec, probably like 5'10" and under is relatively short. But if you're short, you probably need to bulk up. Any NBA player that is short that you see in the league, I'm talking about 6 feet and under, they've bulked up. And those who haven't have a crazy jump shot. But even then, those ones with a crazy jump shot and are skinny probably can't play defense and they don't win. So what is it really worth? Now, with that being said, if you are short, only bulk if you feel like you're probably done growing or near done growth. But if you're still a kid, probably just chill out, continue to work on your skills. There's a lot more things you need to work on before you need to worry about your body at a certain age. Now, if you're at this point and I've mentioned all that I just mentioned and you still don't know, hey, should I bulk? At that point, I'm gonna be honest, you need some professional help. And I can't do that for you right now. I'm just not doing it. So go look up some trainer or look up some athletic sports. Hit up my guy PJF, man. He'll let you know, man. Now, if you're on the fatter side, this is a lot more easy to decide. If you're fat, cut. Generally, you want to be at around, I'd say 13% body fat and lower. This is the only test that I would recommend you probably do if you can't really tell whether you should cut. Do a body fat percentage test. There's a lot of cheap ones and there's a lot of more expensive ones, and obviously the cheaper ones are not as accurate, but do what you can and try to shoot for 13 body percent or below. Definitely if you're at like 20 or something, you gotta bring that down. It'll really take your game to another level, unless maybe you're a big and physicality and like size dominance is really your thing, then maybe you could keep that fat. But for the majority of you, bring that body fat percentage down and you'll be good. And also, if you're skinny fat, for the sake of athleticism, not to say that this is the most optimal way to deal with skinny fat, I would say go ahead and just cut first, because it's just for the sake of your sport and athleticism. It's better to be lighter and have more stamina and ensure that your body can handle your weight rather than just bulk up and go that route. So I would say you cut first and then you can go ahead and eventually get into bulking very slowly and building on that muscle. So once you've decided whether to bulk or cut, and now you need to decide the timing of your cut. If you're watching this video when it does come out, the time is now. Like right now is the time for you to bulk or cut, the off season. You don't want to do it when the season's going on, because it's too late at that point and you don't know if your body can handle the new load, or you don't know if your body can sustain you running with less calories, with less energy when you are cutting. So you have to ensure that you take care of it in the off season, where you have enough time to adapt and make adjustments where you can. Because when you're in the season, you can't make adjustments. It's time to win. Like in a discussion, it's time to give your best performance. So it's not time to be playing around with your body and stuff like that. It's really time to go hoop. So the off season is the time for you to bulk and cut. Summertime for a lot of you guys. Summer started for majority of y'all who are in college, and if you're in high school, I think you got like a month left, and then hop on that grind and make sure that you do what you gotta do. With that being said, many of you may go on to bulk and cut perfectly and may still not look how you would like to look. And this is on the aesthetic side for those of you who care. And that is because there is something called body fat distribution, completely genetic dependent. So there's really not much you can do. Now, unless you're willing to get that surgery that Drake special, that BBL special. Accept yourself. It's not a big deal. At the end of the day, if you're doing this for your sport, then the sport is all that matters. And if you're doing this for aesthetics, then just do the best you can with your body and the cards that you were dealt. With that being said, go ahead and spam, and I mean spam that like button. Comment if you have a question. I'm Jiggy Hills, and I'm out, bruh.